The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another episode of the Korner Booth Podcast. I am your host, Jared Klim, alongside my two co-hosts, joining us, obviously, off of a victorious Thursday night where he was boots on the ground. Ladies and gentlemen, Matt, a.k.a. Swagoo, a.k.a. Jake Smigglesworth, a.k.a. Anthony's father, Matt Rodazzo.
Yeah, what a Thursday night it was. It was more than a win. It was just something that this fan base needed, which was just to beat their division rival at home for the first time since 2015. And we didn't only beat them, we destroyed them. And it was a beautiful Thursday. And this past Sunday was great for you guys as well. So a perfect week for the Korner Booth.
Oh yeah, you know what? And what made Sunday? We'll talk about Sunday in a second. It was such a crazy Thursday. Was crazy because I was on vacation still, and we had a Patriots fan with us, one of my best friends, and I didn't have the heart to tell him, like, brother, I would not turn the game on. It's getting rough. But
I mean, that's great to tell somebody.
I was like, he's not the biggest Patriots fan. I mean, the biggest Patriots fan, who, shout out to our boy Pat, who just had a kid, was, had to be a tool about his Patriots, about my Eagles on Monday, right after he had his kid, right? Wishing congratulations. He's like, yeah, I know, he's already rooting for the Falcons. I'm like, dude, get bent. All right. Nice to see you too, jackass. But, I wouldn't expect anything less from him. I have a few friends like that from my childhood that if I got anything else, I would be upset. But, who's not upset? Joining us now from the great city of Philadelphia, ladies and gentlemen, our other co-host, the esteemed comedian himself, ladies and gentlemen, look crispy, Chris Lipoff.
What's up, fellas? What's going on?
Big man, what's cracking?
Nothing. Just looking at some of the lines for tonight, seeing what I can place.
That a boy. Speaking of which, I got one line for you. Hold on. We standing on business, y'all. We standing on business, y'all. Oh God, it's great. When the Saints lose, it's a good day. But when we beat them, it's even better day. In the Superdome, they had to try to injure our players. They were putting blasphemy up on the board on the Superdome jumbotron. We were almost 3-point underdogs at one point.
2.5, I think the line was.
Mm-hmm. I call it standing on business, huh, Chris?
Oh yeah.
That
dog's right. That dog knows.
Go Birds.
He doesn't even know what he's barking at, but he's barking.
No, he knows it. Go Birds.
I mean, he will go after a bird, so yeah, he might.
Our producer knows what's up. What up, Nate? Yeah, no. What cracked me up about the whole thing was that you could say anything you wanted about how bad the Eagles were in the first half. And okay, so for witness, I had to be driving around all day yesterday. I left my house on the Vineyard at, I would say, close to 12:15. We stopped at a bar. I'm like, great, this bar's got TVs. We'll be good. We'll order some food. We'll hang out. And then my boy goes, yo, can we go to this place in like Vineyard Haven on the other side of the island? They repair cell phones because his charging dock was shot in his iPhone. So I'm like, yeah. So for the next 3 hours, I was watching the game on my phone, going from bar to bar, shop to shop. And I was like, this is insane. But we got on the ferry. It was like the second I parked my truck in the exit lane. When you get on the ferry, there's all those like lanes for the cars. I parked my car. Everyone else went to go get like treats and stuff for the freaking for the ferry ride, and I obviously had to stay in the car. And Saquon busts off that 65-yarder, and I'm just like, what's happening? And then all the action happened. I could have just ignored the game until I got on the ferry, and I would have been happy because I would have seen Saquon's touchdown. I would have seen the Olave catch, but then I would have seen Dallas Goedert go Superman, and I would have been able to actually enjoy, you live and you learn, right? But I will say this, though. The Saints may be my least favorite team in the NFL now. They may have replaced Dallas. The hierarchy of hatred might have a new top tier, boys. Like, not only do you Trevor Penning's dirty ass freaking tries to injures Darius Slay by pushing him basically into the bench with no suspension, no fines yet. Hopefully we'll hear about it Tuesday. Then you also have I believe it was, I can't remember the player's name, number 97. Cheap shotting Devontae Smith to the back of the head. And then you have I believe it's Patrick Turner spitting on him after he's already unconscious on the ground. And there were other times where there was late hits and this and that. And I'm just like, it's been 10 years since Bountygate. And ain't nothing changed, bro. Ain't nothing changed. I'm like, what is happening right now? Or no, I think it was 13 years since Bountygate. It was the 2009 team. So yeah, 15 years since Bountygate. And nothing's changed. What the hell? So
yeah, you couldn't tell me that if AJ Brown was on the field, he wouldn't beat the piss out of him.
Oh no, I was waiting for Chauncey to start a fight. And then when Jalen Carter started yapping and they were like, oh, it's a meltdown. I'm like, bro, nah, he's sticking up for his teammates right now. That was nothing but a meltdown. But shout out to Jalen Carter for having a career game. Jordan Davis getting a sack, which was nice. Maybe by week 8, Bryce Huff will have a pressure or a QB knockdown. Dude, he's awful. I don't know who got a worse ride into that deal. The Jets, who have basically had to step in the building, or the Eagles, who have basically a tackling dummy playing right end for them right now.
I'd rather be the Jets. You don't have to pay them.
Yeah, you don't have to pay
them. He fooled me.
Here, boys. Cheers to all of our teams winning. Even Nate's Giants won. Won. Oh my god, that was friggin' funny.
Yeah, we're all in our divisions.
Yeah, they sacked Deshaun Watson so many times they probably rubbed him the wrong way, and he just didn't feel good about that game. Wink, wink. The Bryce Huff fooled me. You could have told me, hey, he's going to be a. Now, I'm not saying he's a bust because that's very extreme to say for somebody that's only played 3 games with his new team so far. But if you told me he was going to have this slow of a start to start the season, I wouldn't have believed you. I mean, this man, like I said, played like 40% of the snaps last year, and he was our best pass rusher. He had the same amount of sacks as Hassan Reddick, and he played part-time. So
it's crazy. Hey, listen, Hassan Reddick took half those snaps off. So, I mean, he'd be on the field.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, this is a defense that has one by one has lost. Michael Carter is dealing with an injury that's going to linger throughout the year. DJ Reed didn't play last week. CJ Mosley didn't play this past Thursday. Jermaine Johnson's out for the year. A lot of injuries on defense, especially the pass rush. And you would think that's going to give Hassan Reddick all the leverage in the world, but it seems like after 3 weeks of football, the Jets have worked out some kinks, and the defense is getting back on track. They sacked the Patriots 7 times. They had a forced fumble. So they seem to get back to their identity, and I'm loving maybe Hassan Reddick he's going to show up. It's just probably going to be by week 10 because I know that's when they said if he reports by, I believe, that week, he doesn't have to worry about being a Jet next year. He can test free agency. So I think he's going to come back with just enough time before he loses the opportunity to actually test free agency. But listen, I love this defense. Shout out to Will McDonald. I apologize for any Will McDonald slander that I have ever said on the show because this man had a horrendous year last year as a first-round draft pick and now has 5.5 sacks. He's tied for first in sacks. He's had 3 week 2. He had 1.5. No, he had 3 week 2. He must have had a half or something week 1, and he had 1.5 this past week. So he's at 5.5. This man is just – I'm a big Will McDonald fan now. So now I'm like, he knows what he's doing. Drafted him 15 overall. But, shout out to Mina Kimes and everybody too, because she was saying the Patriots have a great defense. They're slept on. They're an underrated unit. And
the worst. Okay.
And she's like, and the Jets, it's not going to be easy for the Jets, this and that. The line was -6. They covered a 21-point line. So I'll take the Jets beating them up. Now everybody's switching the narrative that the Patriots just thinking that they should have won this game, but that's not what they were saying before the game happened. So it's interesting what the media can do.
Lazard scored the first touchdown for me last Thursday.
I know you were. Shout out to our boy Nasty, by the way. Nailed all 4 Thursday night picks. Dude was standing on biz. I mean, he shot a little low It shot about 50%, but then again, we all did. This is a weird weekend, so I'm not going to bust the chops. Nasty stood on business and delivered. Got to give him credit for that. I will say this though: the NFL and our gambling. We'll talk about this as we get more in a six-pack. It is the hardest thing to bet on early in the season because I don't know what teams are. If you want my dead ass opinion, the Chiefs could be 1-2 right now. You also have a team like the Eagles who could be a Saquon drop from 3-0 or a couple timely Reed Blankenship interceptions from being 0-3. It's very much, by the way, Chris and Reed Blankenship look kind of scarily like cousins, which cracks me.
Oh God.
You and Ed Reed Blankenship. Well, listen, I'm going to call him Iceman Reed because he is, whenever the game is on the line, there is a 80% chance that man is picking your quarterback off. I don't know what this dude like snorts or drinks or sips before he goes on the field when it's a game stopping drive. Reed Blankenship is there, man.
Yeah,
it cracks me up. I when it was like I was getting in my truck to get off the boat when he picked off Carr, and I was like, "Ain't no way that was just Reed. That was Reed. What?" I'm like losing my damn mind.
I thought it was Cooper Jean at first. I get my milk guys confused.
You know what the worst part is actually is like Cooper is probably great, but he's third in the depth chart because the second half of Isaiah Rodgers comes back. Maddox is going to the bench too.
Yeah, well,
so
I'm surprised Maddox has lasted this long.
Well, I mean, the options are either him or DeJean, and DeJean got smoked a few times during the preseason. I think DeJean is a year away. We have Maddox on a one-year deal. We have Slay will probably retire after this year. Dude, you can tell he's lost a step, but he can still is a great corner. You want my honest to God opinion? Our starting defensive backfield next year is either going to be Ringo or Rodgers on the outside, Mitchell on the other, and in the slot, it's going to be some either Rodgers or DeJean. Safeties will probably
should be the punt returner. I'm telling you.
Listen, I will never slander Britton Covey. That boy is an instant.
Well, 20. He's out. He's hurt.
Oh yes. What's he got right now?
Dude, I think he's out like 6 to 8 weeks, dude.
Hey, that's why you made the Jahan Dotson trade. I know he hasn't been worked in right now, but I mean, there's a lot of people in front of him.
Let's call Johnny Ross up. Let's do it. I'm not giving up on
Corey Davis.
Who?
Corey Davis, unretired.
No,
and
I
it's
don't
been
want
2 years since he last
call
signed
old
to a
man
team.
Julio up again. Dude's good for 20 yards and a catch and a touchdown.
AB?
You can't tell me Julio didn't look gnarly in those freaking Kelly Green uniforms, man.
You got to get AB on the phone.
Yo, business would be booming. All right.
Dude, imagine him just deep balling it from Jalen Hurts. That'd be interesting. Well, as long as he doesn't run off the field.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if he's playing for the Eagles, I feel like he'd be okay. But listen, there are worse spots teams could be in because Eagles could be 49ers right now. The Jets could be 49ers. We could be the Ravens who are hanging into dear life the Cowboys. So much happened, so we'll get right into it. We'll start with college ball because to be dead honest with you guys, I'm a little amazed with like how the game looked last night. I was very impressed. Oh, now listen, Saturday. I was rooting hard for Colorado to lose. And, of course, they got that last-minute Hail Mary. I'm like, we're going to have to wait another week. But I was too consumed by my hatred of South Florida and watching Cam Ward and the boys stand on business. I got to see Sam Brown on a 75-yard streaker. That was great. But for the games in the six-pack, I'm done betting college football on Fridays. I refuse. I'm just going to follow whatever Matt
It was abysmal for me.
Oh my God, I went 0-3. I said, I'm done betting whatever Matt bets now because I'm done. It doesn't matter whatever I do. I'm just gonna say. Also, by the way, at this point, I may like shave my head as good luck. I don't know because at this point, I'm ready to like change something up because my gambling streak when it comes to this show, I have never had a season start this bad ever. So,
well, dude, I had a bet this weekend. I'll run it by you. But it included my upset, Mississippi State, and then they got smashed. But this is what it was. I had it's right here. Just had it 2 seconds ago. I had Cincinnati. They beat Houston. Mm-hmm. I had Kansas plus 3.5 against the Mountaineers. They won. I had Texas Tech beating Arizona State. They won, and I had Mississippi State beating Florida because I know Florida stinks, but I didn't realize how bad Mississippi State was. So that fumbled for me. But other than that, like if I don't bet my 6-pack, I like my parlays. Because
I've gotten hosed on like 1 or 2 games every single time, and it's driving me crazy.
I did too. I keep getting hosed on one. It's every other hit.
I did not see the Andy Dalton lighting up the damn Raiders, and I did not see what was it? I got screwed on one college game this week. I can't remember which one it was.
Nebraska?
No, I didn't touch Nebraska. Oh yeah, well yeah, Nebraska won. I thought, listen, overtime's overtime, but Oklahoma State, like what the Oklahoma State didn't even start playing until the fourth quarter. I'm just like, what is going on with these teams? There was no major upsets except for Kansas State getting smoked by BYU. But other than that, like it's not really like a crazy. Oh yeah, and Michigan just out physicaling USC. I'm watching that game in the bar on Saturday. I'm just like what the hell? It's like, when did I bet on Michigan? They win. I bet on they lose. I bet against Michigan. They win. I can't win with them. I can't win with any team for the Big Ten, ACC, SEC. Doesn't matter. So I don't know what I'm going to do. At this point, I need like almost a perfect week this week, or I'm going to start tanking for Cam Ward. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to start pulling Chris.
Yeah,
no, come on, man. Give me the guy who literally is bringing swagger back to Miami in bucket loads. And my condolences to you boys with your receiver who is now out for the season.
Yeah. Our whole team is out for the season, I think, besides our quarterback.
Hey, maybe this is how Brian Kelly gets fired.
That would be a fever dream, but they're going to say, oh, there was major injuries across the board, so we're going to have to keep you for another year. Hypothetical, he gets fired. I don't know the coaches on the market, but who do you think would be available, Jared?
I would say you'd want to look into maybe a Rhett Lashley down in SMU. They kind of start off rough. Maybe a couple NFL coordinators. I don't. It's weird. College is a different animal. That's like a question for Cruz or a question for Kevin, or even Jay.
Joe Brady. Bring him back.
Stop it. Go. You shut. Actually, no. He was great in LSU. My bad.
Yeah, he won us a national championship. Offensive coordinator.
That's true. No, Ken Dorsey. Bring the U guy in. Mr. slams his headphones.
Let's do it.
Good Lord. Yeah. So games I got smoked on this weekend. Let's talk about it. I don't think I went. I only lost one NFL game, right? Yes. I don't know why Nate's saying I lost 2. Or the 6-pack games. It was.
You had in the 6-pack. You had the Cowboys. They lost.
Mm-hmm.
And you had the
Eagles.
Yeah. You won yours because you had the Lions, the Eagles.
Yeah.
So what did Nate say you were?
Yeah, no, he's right. I am 2 and 2 and
4. Yeah, because those are the 2 you got right.
Yeah, so I lost all 3 in college. So basically,
the Commanders.
The Cowboys screwed me. I'm banking on the Commanders tonight. Come on, Jaden Daniels. I need a miracle. Oh my God.
I don't know. I can't root for them.
I can't either. I just at this point, I don't care about the Bengals anymore. I really don't. I mean, I love my boy Mike B over on Craft Brew. I know he's a big Bengals fan, but to be honest, Zach, I love Zach Moss. I want him to get can he just have 2 Tolbert touchdowns where he just falls in the end zone? So I could seal up my victory in my my friends league and go 3-0 somehow. But I'm just killing time until they bring back Nick Chubb, until Nick Chubb gets off the pup. That's literally what I'm doing because I'm using a rotating stable of B-tier running backs that keep somehow producing points. Oh my God! And now Tyreek Hill hasn't done jack for me in fantasy. My number 1 overall pick. I might try to deal. I might try to see the guy in my league who has AJ Brown. If he'll swap Tyreek and AJ Brown, maybe a pick somewhere, because I feel like
the problem is you don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, that's the problem. And I'm like, listen, maybe they'll sign one. I'll try to sell them on that because at this point, I'm ready to deal Tyreek because I can't do this for another week, man. I can't have my entire team being carried by my defense. I have Pittsburgh defense. And like a couple of like no-name DK Metcalf and Stephon Diggs are carrying my team right now. But can we just talk about DK is having a top 10 receiver like season right now, and nobody's talking about it?
Who?
DK Metcalf is like
he's
having
been
a top 10 receiver season, and nobody's talking about it.
He's been unreal.
Man, I got attack of the squirrels out here in my yard right now. They're all assaulting the trees because it's almost fall. I leave my house. It's nice. It's summery. It's great. I come back. All the leaves are changing color. Shit's hitting the ground. I'm like, man. Yeah. Also, by the way, the last 4 days of vacation, it never stopped raining. It was a little tropical storm that hovered over the Cape and the coastal islands. It didn't move for 4 days. And then literally as we're driving off the property, we start getting sunshine. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, man. Like, this is BS. The first 4 days were so gorgeous. And then it was like Wednesday, my friends show up and it's just like, oh, rain.
Yeah, that's how my vacation went too. Like back in July, it was just rained almost every day. It sucks.
But I had to drive everywhere because I had my truck out there. So I couldn't really get screwed up. So I only got screwed up one night. It was because the one night I didn't drive. And by the time I got home, I was almost sober. I was like, this is just bullshit. But all right, let's continue talking about the college. Any other games we talked about Nebraska, overtime thriller, Michigan showing its physicality. Alex Orji, not a bad quarterback. I mean, maybe he's the fix. They were able to run the ball effectively with a mobile quarterback, kind of do a little zone read run option thing. So it worked. USC looked flat until the end of the game. Same thing with Oklahoma State. So Utah got the dub.
His name's Ord.
Yeah. And you know what the worst part is? I should have swapped out that Friday night game for Tennessee and Oklahoma, and I would have gotten a dub. So I'm a little pissed about that. So, boys, next time, please double check the stupid picks I make because I will miss a game. And there we go. I missed a good game. But other than that, college was abysmal. My Hurricanes won. Your Tigers, I believe, won, right? They beat UCLA?
Yeah, 34-17.
Yeah, we beat them.
Did our house upset hit?
Nah, I don't think so. I'm trying to find the game.
I know.
But I feel like Nate would have been all over it.
Nate would have been losing his yeah. Yeah, it says Florida State one win.
Yeah, 14-9.
All right, boys. First house upset of the year doesn't tag 9-14. They lost by 5 points. That sucks. All right, we're talking pro football now. Let's just get into it because this was a weird weekend. You know what the worst part was is I had to listen to Red Zone while driving, which was actually
I didn't get much Red Zone coverage this weekend because I was at the bar down the shore watching the Eagles. So I got a little bit of Red Zone on the ride home, but I'll talk about the game that stood out to me in a bit because I'm going to let you carry on because I know you had something on your mind.
All right, so we're going to talk. First of all, I'm going to go down these real quick because there's no reason to drag it out. Steelers defense is legit. Like
they're unreal. They always
been. Dude,
yeah, no, but now they have a guy who actually can produce a little offense in Justin Fields, and they're like the Steelers are they're going to win.
They're always a gritty football team. That's why
now they have a quarterback who doesn't turn the ball over.
Yeah, well, Fields ain't in Chicago anymore. So
yeah, so I don't think anybody's. This is the year of quarterback redemption stories. We have Sam Darnold and Justin Fields, who both were literally steamrolled out of their jobs because of bad organizational handling and bad coaching, and now are having amazing rebounds. Can we get another one? Can we get like Carson Wentz to the Dolphins? Like
my Joe Flacco of the 2024 season is Andy Dalton.
Oh, and Andy Dalton was my next one. Well, we don't know. Let's see another game. Let's see Andy Dalton do it again with the Panthers. Panthers win next week. I'm all for it. Like Panthers division, like that division, the NFC South is going to be a dogfight because no team is great. I thought the Bucs were a certified dub yesterday, and Bo Nix killed them. Yeah. Like what just happened? And then, I'm thinking, oh, easy win for the Texans going into Minnesota. I think this when Sam Darnold comes down. Nah, they smoked them, 30-7.
Stroud's been like okay these past 2 games.
I swear, I think it's because I have him fantasy. I'm trying to deal him so he gets better.
I think he's going on like a little bit of a rut.
It's the only difference really is that they added Stephon Diggs to that team.
Yeah, it's the problem.
I doubt that's really
blame Diggs when he's been the most productive receiver in that entire lineup.
Yeah, I put him in all my leagues last week or this past week because I figured Minnesota would be a revenge game. I mean, he did have 10 receptions for a handful of yards, so he did give me some good points in between. But, dude, I don't know, man. My confidence going into the London game against the Vikings went from here all the way down to here in the last handful of weeks.
Sammy's
honestly, my thought is, obviously the Jets are not being quarterbacks, especially rookie quarterbacks. You go to Carolina, worst franchise. And then you go to San Francisco, who has brought the best out of any quarterback that they've had there. I've seen flashes all from CJ Beathard looked like a good backup over there. Nick Mullins looked like a decent backup over there. Yeah. Jimmy Garoppolo had a great 5-6 plus years there. You saw, Lance never really got that shot, but Purdy's gotten them to the Super Bowl multiple times already so far.
He's looking Purdy.
Yeah, he's looking mighty Purdy. But I feel like San Francisco changed some kinks in maybe Donald's game and corrected him. And then he goes to Minnesota, who everybody probably thinks is just going to be a crapshoot because they just don't have a great defense. They don't have a good team. And Kevin O'Connell is a very bright-minded offensive coach, and he just whips him into shape as well. And now this team's 3-0. He's playing like he's a franchise guy. And it's not what I expected, but now I got to go play him in 2 weeks, and I'm already like he's about to be 2-0 on us in his career.
You guys know I haven't had a normal Sunday watching football yet. My usual routine of work out in the morning, come home at noon, start cooking, 1 o'clock games go on, I'm done. First week 1 was I had a wedding at 4 o'clock, so I had to leave halfway into the 1 o'clock games. And then last 2 weeks I was on Martha's Vineyard. So and then this week I am going to watch football with my grandmother, which I am totally okay with. I had to miss her birthday, and I'm going up to see it. Problem is, I don't know what game she's gonna have on, so I'm gonna have to have my laptop up there watching Eagles Bucks while we're watching whatever game she wants. But it's week 5 is the first weekend I'm gonna get to actually have a normal Sunday, which is weird to me.
Can you believe it's week 4?
Week 4? No, week 4. No, week 4 because I'll be. I guess I'm going to see my grandma.
No, I say can't. I say can't you believe it's already going to be week 4?
It's insane. It's insane.
Or a month.
Dude, it's October in a week. My Diamondbacks have to not choke away the wild card over the next week and a half to those freaking Mets. Chris, I needed you guys to handle business last night. What the hell?
Yeah, tell that to my offense.
Yeah, I think your guys are kind of mailing it in. Or wait, no, they still could lose the division, right? Or no,
possibly, but we need to win 1 game to win the division.
Just one, and all it takes is just one.
Yankees need to win just 1 more game, and they have a 3-game series against the Orioles starting tomorrow. So we can hopefully have this division locked up by Thursday.
Yeah, I just need the Braves. Can the Braves handle business and knock the Mets down a couple of eggs? That's what I need. I don't want the Mets, because the Mets actually could beat the Diamondbacks. We own the Braves. We can't beat the Mets. I don't know what the Mets do that drives our offense crazy. We can't beat them. So
well, whatever happens, I hope the Mets lose. The Mets are my least favorite baseball team.
Oh, they're up there with me. The Mets are up there with the Dodgers and the Giants for me. We actually play the Giants tonight, so I want us to smoke the daylights out of them. But Nathan, speaking of Giants, first win. Congratulations, sir! You beat.
You know what I'm about to say, Jared.
The Cleveland Bill Cosby's. Good job. You beat them.
We back.
All right,
we back. Yeah,
back to mediocrity. There you go.
Yep. Malik looked good. Danny Dimes did not throw a pick. Our defense.
Well, I told you. I knew Malik's gonna be an absolute baller, dude.
He's so good, man.
Dimes got bailed out. Dimes got bailed out with that interception. That was an interesting, questionable roughing the passer call, I think.
Oh yeah,
but he did make contact with his head and neck area, so I understand it. He didn't get knocked down.
He looked like
he made contact.
He threw
put his hands up. Yeah, I watched that replay, and I'm like, I see what he's looking at. He's looking at the tight end as a check down, but he pulled. It was like a Madden situation where you get the check down and you press it down to throw to the receiver, and then the ball just goes like this, and you're like, where are you going? That was like a Madden interception in like a tight game.
All I know is looking at the Giants-Browns game, I don't know. Okay, so there's like 5 teams I can't figure out what they are. The Ravens, the Browns, the Cowboys, the Raiders. Actually, no, I kind of know what the Raiders are. I really can't say anything about the Dolphins yet. And then 2 teams tonight, the Bengals.
The Vikings. I think the Vikings.
Oh, no, I know what the Vikings are. The Vikings are going to be a wild card team. They're not as good as everyone thinks they are. Like, they beat, like, I think the Texans I think they play tomorrow. The Texans beat them. It's going to be close. Like, their offense can move the ball and they have a good defense. Like, the Vikings are a legitimate wild card team. But there's 3 good teams in the NFC North now. The Lions the Lions aren't going to have a walk-in like we thought they were. Like, the Packers with Malik Willis are 2-0. And Jordan Love,
and they're getting Jordan Love back next week.
I mean, don't discredit the Vikings. I mean, they beat
I know.
The Niners.
I know.
But out of everybody in that division, we have an idea of what Chicago is going to be. They're going to be a work in progress. But the Vikings are a big question mark in my opinion, because how do I know this isn't just a fluke? How do I know this isn't a fluke year? How do I know Sam Darnold's not going to come back down to reality? How do I know that this isn't just going to be a Case Keenum situation where it's a one-hit wonder kind of thing? So I just want to see – I want to see like a whole year with Darnold to see like is this real or is this just a one-hit wonder and he's going to come down to earth in 2-3 weeks?
I was going to say, how many weeks do you declare him until he's the guy? Like, do you say, like, okay, if he's still performing like this, like week 8, 2 months in, is he the guy?
Yeah, that's fair.
All right.
I give like 8 weeks. I want to see where he's at in that time, 6 to 8 weeks. Even if it's 6 weeks, he's 5-1. I'll be like, you know what? All right, he's a real deal for the Vikings this year. He's their guy. JJ who, you know what I mean? I'll get on that whole wagon. But if you get to like week 6, week 8, and they're 4-4, they're, you know,
we
something
need
like
only you to declare him the guy because you've dealt with Darnold. We haven't.
Yeah, and I have a big soft spot for the guy.
Yeah,
but I can't just, from experience of him on the team, I just can't declare that right now. It's just too early to me.
It's hard. You've seen enough with Darnold.
Yeah, well, because he was declared the man for the first 3 weeks in Carolina, and all of a sudden we saw how that turned out. He was benched for Baker, then he came back in for one game, then they benched him right back down. And
Baker's journey in the NFL is remarkable. Browns, Panthers, Rams, Bucks.
It's
Shaquille O'Neal.
That's why Bryce Young needs to leave, though. Because look what happened when Darnold and Mayfield left. They succeeded in their new locations. There's something in Carolina. I don't know what it is exactly. Maybe it's the ownership who is terrible or just the management in general. But Young needs to go. You know, if he wants to have a career or save his career in a way, he needs to leave. And I just Googled cons of North Carolina. Mild climate, lack of public transportation. That could be a big thing. Poor infrastructure. So, I mean, if I'm Bryce Young, I look at those things.
I think that what's wrong with the Panthers is what's wrong with the Jets.
I also said that CJ Stroud was superior in every way to Bryce Young.
I know. You're the almanac of 1987.
I've been standing on business last draft. I was like 2023 draft. I was like swiping my shoes a little bit. I'm like,
how many beers in were you when you said this?
Sober.
The guy.
I don't miss on quarterbacks long term. I very rarely miss. Carson Wentz was my one miss.
I mean, that's a hard. I mean, that's a. It looked good.
Jimmy Clowney broke his brain. So
was that game?
Yeah, I know. I've told that story to my friends that like, oh yeah, my buddy Chris was at that game.
Yeah, I felt like my brain was crushed in watching that happen. They showed it on the Jumbotron too, so it was like kind of like, oh, you know. Now everybody knows what happened.
My favorite was when they were like, "Oh yeah, there's Devontae Smith might get up," and I'm like, "No, he's not.
He was dead." I mean, that was a disgusting hit. The fact that he got spit on was even worse.
That's nasty too. Out of all,
Peyton Turner's a piece of garbage. Like I honestly like him and the rest, like him and Trevor Penning are like the most. It fits the Saints brand that they are a dirty, nasty, like just a cheap shot team. And I know my boy Cruz is a huge Saints fan, and shout out to our boy TJ, former guest of the show, both big Saints guys. But I got to ask him, how do you stand on business when your team is literally known for taking cheap shots?
Your quarterback's Derek Carr, dude. He ain't anything special.
My chemical quarterback, baby.
Yeah, he's not that good of a quarterback.
So, you know what? Listen, it was a close game, honestly. And I shout out to Jalen over at Pick a Side Podcast. He said it best. The Eagles should have been up by at least 2 touchdowns or 3 if it wasn't for a bunch of stupid turnovers and Nick Sirianni just being a dummy.
Should have kicked the ball.
I know. Chris, here's the thing is.
It drives me insane.
If he hit it, we're calling him a genius. If he hit it, we're calling him a genius. That's the difference, and that's the problem. It's like I love Nick Sirianni because he takes risks. The one thing I hate about Andy Reid is he never took risks when he was.
But the craziest thing was they didn't kick it twice there, but they decided to go for a 61-yarder,
which Jake has hit before. Yeah. In a driving rainstorm. So the thing is, like, we have a weapon in Jake Elliott. So yeah, we should have kicked it before. He learned his lesson. He missed. Here's the thing. The Eagles were going to live or die by getting aggressive. They had a rough game on Monday. They needed to flip the script. They didn't know what kind of defense they were getting back. They didn't know how long they keep this with Ringo and a bunch of basically a second year, a rookie, and Avonte Maddox is hobbled, but trying to cover those receivers. I didn't know what was going to happen. They drew Marshawn right down the field and scored. But what happened after that was Dallas Goedert did Dallas Goedert things. That's why he's a top 5 tight end in the NFL. 170 yards on what was it, 7 catches, 10 catches. Eagles franchise record for a tight end for receiving yard. I think it's the most since like Gronk in like 2018 or something. So you know what? Listen, like it as much as this game should have been so much better. They don't remember, boys. There's one line I will say to you guys for the rest of the year. They don't ask how, they ask how many, and that was a dub. That's all you can have. And Kyle Brandt said it best. That's a win that gets you separated from the Cowboys by an extra game or 2 when it's December and you can sit Jalen Hurts for 2 weeks. So I'm okay with it being ugly as long as we have a W. That's what I care about. At this point,
yeah,
it's like,
I mean, at the end of the day, you got to win the game. So I'm glad they won.
Listen, we're going into Tampa 2-1, and the way Tampa looked last week, they don't look unbeatable. I want to see what Quinyon does against Mike Evans or Chris Godwin. This is the real test for him. And then,
it's funny. He's been quiet.
He's been good. Oh, Mike Evans or Chris Godwin?
Evans.
He's very quiet.
Yeah, I know. I have him on my fantasy team, my family league. It's like his lack of production is killing me.
Yeah, I know. One catch, 2 catches.
Well,
I got him too.
Chucking the ball at Godwin every 5 seconds because Godwin's getting open. I think Mike Evans might be slowing down. I gotta go back and watch the 22 tape. Nate, can we talk about you getting me a hold of that the Bucks Broncos 22 tape, or at least like if I can see some some analysis on Mike Evans? Because I'm trying to wonder why he's gone 2 straight weeks with barely any production. I understand if he's like playing lockdown corners. I mean, it's Surtain on him, but doesn't Surtain just stay on one side? I don't even know. Did he have him falling? I didn't have a chance to watch the game.
I don't know the Broncos defense that well.
Well, they have Pat Surtain, who's a top 3 corner. So it's like he was covering one of them.
Interesting. The Jets just signed Jalen Mills to the practice squad.
My boy, Green Goblin.
Hey, it makes sense. Green Goblin in Gotham.
Show love to our boy Jalen Mills, man. That's our dog.
I mean, we've got our 1, 2, and 3, so he'll be I would assume would be a good depth corner / maybe just fills in at a safety role.
He's a safety,
which is what we need.
Yeah, he's an elite safety. When he is allowed to play his game, he is a top 15 safety. The problem is when you try to move him around, you make him do all stupid crap. That's when he gets sloppy.
I like when they overthrow the receiver and then Jalen gets torched. And then he still puts the finger up I
know. Listen, as much as it drove me
best
nuts.
Character.
Oh my god, that's my favorite part of his
great
game.
aura.
Also, the fact, I think it was I think he's the one who knocked the ball down out of Gronk's hand on the last play of the Super Bowl. It was him because he full on just tackled Gronk as he's catching the ball. It was totally, honestly,
it was like 6 Eagles against 1 Gronk,
and Gronk still almost caught it, which was insane.
Yeah, but, off the tip.
And then Amendola almost scooped it. I was like, oh no. But It's okay. We were meant to win that season. You want to talk about something hilarious? I'll tell you guys a quick story. We'll get into the rest of the show. So I had to play my NCAA Dynasty with my friends. I basically had a week off. I was playing Arizona State as Arizona, and I get to stop on 4th down because their quarterback ran across the line of scrimmage and threw the football. I accidentally hit decline penalty, and it gave them the touchdown. So now it's a 2-point game. It's a 1-point game, and they're going for 2 to win. I'm like, if I lose because I accidentally accepted a penalty, I'm going to literally just jump out the window and just hope I break my ankles. So they throw a quick slant, and my linebacker may have decapitated their slot receiver. And I was just like, no more of this. I gotta stop. So that was my morning this morning before I went and got my car washed because I need to get all the salt water off the truck. But oh my God. Speaking of getting things washed up, man, I don't know what to do with the Falcons and this Falcons like Chiefs game. Like, can we talk about the fact that Kyle Pitts was getting like mugged on that ball? First of all, Cousins should have put the ball about a foot higher. If he did, that's a touchdown. We have a whole different conversation this morning. But
I bet it was so close to
Chris Collinsworth called it PI. Chris
Now,
Collinsworth, who literally worships Mahomes, called it PI. I was like, what? Oh my God. And you know what the worst part is? It's like my favorite thing I've seen so far is like the Chiefs fans going, hey boys, checks are still clearing 3-0. I'm like, y'all are starting to get way too comfortable with these wins, man.
Blay looked a little Mahomey.
I'm worried about Kelce because what the flip? 3 games now, 46 yards totaled in 3
what
games.
I've seen so far, Nick, because I watched almost all of last night's game, it looks like he's getting bracketed a lot. And they're like, we'll let the receivers beat us. We're not going to let Kelce beat us.
Is he still a
He's getting double and he is, but he's still getting doubled and triple teamed out there. He's got like 8 catches
they got a linebacker underneath with a safety over the top or a nickel guy underneath. He's not. They're going to get one-on-ones with Juju or Rice or Worthy or when he comes back, Hollywood. Like they have a loaded receiving core. So the problem is he's like, if he's not open, Patrick's not going to force it. As much as Mahomes can get reckless, he's not stupid. He will easily just be like, "Oh, hey, Travis, I know you're like one of the best tight ends of all time. I'm going to aim over there because Juju's so open, you could drive a truck between him and the defender. So I'm going to throw it to him, so TikTok boy can get his yards."
Can we talk about how good Rashid Rice is
at getting away from people trying to lock him up?
He's Jared, go to the penalty box.
Okay.
And Chris's penalty box is vended by Candidates. Use the code
Righteous Felon. What the? Nate, you fumbled it again. You're looking like Daniel Jones.
Put Nate in the penalty box now.
What? Oh, fudge. That's I don't.
For screwing over one of our sponsors. But the penalty box is presented by the amazing people at Righteous Felon. Promo code BELLYUP15 for 15% off at checkout. And I forgot to go live on Instagram. At this point, it's not even worth it. We got 15 minutes.
45 minutes in, we're almost done.
Yeah, okay, so I apologize to our I was trying to get set up out here and I still screwed my moment because I wanted to join the show with me lighting up a cigar because I'm loving it. I'm standing out here on the Saints loss. But oh my God. Nate, you can come back.
Bring Nate back in.
Yeah.
I feel Nate's punishment's been long enough.
Yeah. Rashid Rice looks great. You know who also looks really great is Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
3-3 games.
He almost choked that game, dude.
Yo, you know what the worst part is? I'm telling you right now. I saw somebody said like, "Oh, the Ravens are a Super Bowl contender." I'm like, they're not. This game should have told you they are a wild card team at best. They're the second best team in their division.
Was falling apart at the worst
moment. They could not complete a pass.
No, they couldn't. Lamar, this is Lamar for you. This is what I'm trying to tell people about Lamar is when he's under pressure, and he feels it, dude. Does not deliver. And he's a good quarterback, but there's times where he's just very questionable. Yesterday was a prime example. They barely held on. He had a quote after the game. He said, a lot of fans were on suicide watch because if they lost again, it would be 0-3.
And they ain't making the play. I think it's like one team ever has made the playoffs after starting 0-3.
Yeah, like that's tough there. But
my biggest problem is it's just like, dude, like they have weapons. It's not they have two great tight ends. They have a
they
decent
don't use Mark Andrews.
I know they have a decent receiving core.
It's killing me.
How are you blowing this lead when you have one of the best like time-eating running backs in the history of football? Derrick Henry got the Titans to the AFC title game by them getting a lead on a couple play-action shots to A.J. Brown or Corey Davis, and then Tannehill just handing the ball off to Henry for 2 quarters. And yet you can't close the Cowboys out? I'm trying to understand. Like their defense just stopped playing for half the game.
Yeah, they I think the problem with the Ravens is when they're in that situation where they're like in the process of choking, they just force everything. They force everything. It's got to be a head scratcher as a Ravens fan because you know how good of a roster you have and you know how good your team is, and you shouldn't be 1-2, but they are. Because
to be honest, the Ravens should have beaten the Raiders week 2. That was just a bad.
Yeah.
And then week one, it was abysmal. That loss to the Chiefs was hilarious. They were terrible. They came out flat. So I guess like the whole thing, but like the Cowboys defense is awful. Can we just say that right now? Like I don't know what
they're bad against good teams.
Yes, because I think the Cleveland Browns might be the worst team I've ever seen.
Yeah. I mean,
who'd the Browns smoke?
Week 1 they won, I think, right?
No, that was when they got smoked by the Cowboys week 1.
They beat the Jags by 5.
Yeah, they beat the Jags by 5, and the Jags might be your guys going to see it in an hour. The Jags might be one of the worst teams in the league. So,
dude, tonight
Peterson
we're gonna be jagging off all day.
Anybody else think Doug Peterson doesn't survive the year if they don't win here or they don't get some wins together? Jacksonville looks lost. They have so many weapons and they can't do anything. Trevor Lawrence hasn't. I keep saying. I said this on the show on Thursday. Trevor Lawrence has not progressed since his sophomore year of college, and everyone looks at me like I'm crazy, and I'm like, he's not doing anything. I was like, oh, he had a lost year with Urban Meyer. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Dude, like CJ Stroud had like 4 different OCs and like had different head coach. Like Baker Mayfield has like 7 head coaches, and he's progressed so well in his like 7th or 8th, 6th or 7th year now. Josh Allen's had 3 different coaches or 3 different coaches. No, McDermott drafted him. Right? That was McDermott's first year they drafted Josh Allen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so coaches have players that had multiple coaches. Like Jalen Hurts had Doug Peterson as his first coach. Got Sirianni. Had Steichen. Had Brian Johnson. Oh. Now it's back to Kellen Moore, which honestly, I think Kellen Moore is still trying to figure this offense out. I think once he lost A.J. Brown, he was like, how do I do this? I'm used to having a guy who is a threat to score any play.
Yeah,
and now they have nobody to replace A.J. Brown's type of play. Dotson's okay, but Dotson's good as a 2 option or a 3. As long as you – like the thing is with Devontae Smith, he's at his best when he is not being triple teamed.
Yeah, that's the issue, being able to move the ball in instances without A.J. Brown because he spaces the field so well for the rest of the offense.
And y'all thought I was insane. My John Ross point was 1 point. 2 feet in the ground, he's gone. You don't even have to have him catch a ball the whole game. He runs 4 go routes a quarter, and the safety's going with him because they don't want to get smoked over the top. You have all these underneath routes. They have nobody who can blow the top off the defense besides AJ.
I like how they're running cross field too. Like they're
they're bringing back the drags, the crossing routes.
Yeah, I love that a lot because it especially opens like a pick play where you drive in a blocker and roll the tight end around the blocker.
Yeah.
And then you're cut up the field like Goddard. So those are perfect play calls.
I guess the biggest thing I worry about with his offense is that if they are struggling this hard with it, like Saquon, I think if we didn't make that Saquon move, we'd be in a lot of trouble. But Saquon really did change a lot.
He is insane, dude. He's not like any other running back we've ever had outside of Brian Westbrook.
Shady.
Shady.
Yeah.
And Shady. Those two. But he's been the best since then.
Foot in the ground, he's out. It's a horrifying thing for a defense. Dude, 21.66 miles per hour. That's what he topped out at on that run. That's
he's a cheetah. He's like Tyreek Hill, dude. Like, run the ball. You got to balance it.
I know.
You can't.
We need to bring in a guy to help him, though, because Kenny Gainwell is not that dude. He is a great out-of-the-backfield quick swing guy. I love the Will Shipley acquisition.
I want to see what he's about. They don't use him.
I know, but like I don't want Saquon taking 20-something touches a game if he doesn't have to. Like, let's go see if like
you only have 15.
Yeah, I know. I don't want him to get any more than 15, 16 touches a game. It's all he needs. But like, let's go get a bigger back. Let's go see if even if we go get like a guy like Bo Scarborough, who's a practice squad guy who falls forward for 4 yards, I'm okay with that because that'll just eat up yardage.
I was gonna say, like, before the Chiefs got him back, I wanted a guy like Kareem Hunt, a third down guy.
Well, we have that in Kenny G. Kenny G actually can make those plays.
Yeah, but I don't know. Kenny G's a weird player now, man. He's like, I feel like he's hit like a little bit of that like running back cliff.
I think he's hit his ceiling. That's what it is with Gainwell. Like, the biggest thing with Gainwell is he's never been a every down back. He's great because he's lanky. He's kind of like a faster Tajay Spears or Sharp or Spears.
Spears.
I don't know because he's been missing the entire season. So I'll start calling him Where's Waldo. But like some free agent running backs that are available that we easily could go get if like they're on the roster. I'm trying to pull it up actually right now, see if I can get him. But like we could go get like Kenyon Drake's still available. He can eat up some yardage.
Did he not retire?
Yeah, like go get Kenyon Drake. Go get go look at like a Jordan Howard. There are other guys who are like there's a lot of different players who the Eagles could easily go grab and are a better option than
Frank Gore Sr.
Yeah, for a power back, just fall forward for 4 yards. That is literally the one piece besides obviously, bringing in a deep threat or whatever that the Eagles could obviously use. But at the end of the day, they don't have I worry about Saquon getting multiple carries, going through the motions. That's what bugs the hell out of me. But
how about Latavius Murray?
Oh yeah, I'm all good with Murray. But
Latavius Murray.
Brandon Jacobs.
Yeah, so Brandon Jacobs.
Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, I had one of my neighbors just showed up.
40 years old.
Frank Gore Sr.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm literally come out of retirement as a boxer, man. Let's do this. I just, that's one thing that bugs me. But like Nate, the floor is yours, buddy. We didn't give you much time yet. Any thoughts, positive notes about the Giants that some things you want to talk about, maybe that we didn't see off the rip?
I think everything's pretty simple. I mean, Malik was great. I love watching him play. Danny Dimes, no turnovers. Past couple games has been better. Obviously, we need to see more. These are just 2 games. He's had a whole career filled with mediocrity. So these 2 games are great to see from him, but we need to see more. Starting on Thursday again, if he can beat Dallas, I feel like that's a big confidence boost for sure. Defensively, we got to Deshaun Watson like 8 times, which is great. Defense finally got to the quarterback after the past couple weeks. Haven't really done that. Other than that, Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, getting to the QB, Dexter Lawrence still looking great as always on that D line. You just got to keep it going, man. But it's just Washington and Cleveland. I'm sorry.
Defensive line, man. Y'all were playing out of your mind.
Yeah, they were great.
All out.
That's what we all expected them to be like.
One in the trenches. That's what it is. Dude, we had Fred Johnson and Tyler Steen come in. They played out of their minds. I think it was like our first win in 3 years without Lane Johnson.
Quick story about him. I met him at Target last year. Fred Johnson. He followed me on Instagram, and then 5 minutes later unfollowed me.
That's hilarious.
Damn.
I said,
He was like, "What am I doing?"
yeah, I was like,
You should message him again and be like, "Hey, since you've unfollowed me, I've made Shane Gillis laugh."
yeah,
So
What happened to that Barstool thing?
they never posted it.
They never
Of
posted.
course they didn't.
all right, then we can wind up doing something with it.
Yeah, Korner Booth gets permission. I can't believe that. That's crazy. Because they DM me saying they posted, but I'm like, it's okay.
They always say, "Oh, I'm gonna post." It's like, no. Some dude did this whole thing, went viral because he called out ESPN and Barstool and all these other like big name sites. They'll ask you to post their stuff, but they won't ever give you credit for it. And it's like, he goes, you should negotiate to use the clip. If it's like that good of a clip, negotiate. But if they're not going to use it, it's like, who cares? But
I thought they were gonna post it. I was like doing like that Channing Tatum meme, like, "Oh, I'm about to make a name for myself."
Hey, listen, that's how Cruz got famous with the Antonio Brown clip without the helmet. That's how Cruz got famous. So
Yeah,
but
trying to get on Cruz level.
freaking Cruz, man, he's at a crazy.
Yeah.
It's all right though. That was basically my whole point. Like, there's like a bunch of running backs who come in, just eat up 3 yards of the clip, and just fall down. That's all I honestly need. The Eagles need. That, and maybe now that Covey's out, you gotta go get another. You gotta get a guy who can run. Just
Get a vet, dude.
Yeah, just go get some dudes who can
crazy.
fly.
Go after DJ's Renfro.
Or yeah.
Ooh,
Just give me a deep threat. That's what it really comes down to me. Give me a guy who's just gonna take the top off. He literally has to do one thing and just run straight. That's all he has to do. And I'm totally okay with it.
Said, I don't know why, it's just the first thing that comes to mind. It's not really a deep threat guy, but he's a guy that can catch a short little slant or some sort of wide receiver screen and can take it 20, 30 yards. But Jamison Crowder is definitely a slept on little slot receiver kind of guy. But listen, that man could take a 2 or 3 yard dump off pass and turn it into 40.
Yeah.
I'm with it. Anything to fix help the
or call
offense.
the Patriots to see if KJ Osborne is on the market. Dude is a good deep threat, runs well, good receiver. I'd rather have Osborne. He stays healthy.
That was an all-around Korner Booth W.
Dude, yeah, I get a Miami guy. We get a slant. We get a deep threat there. Take a weapon from the Patriots.
How many?
Antonio Brown, but Antonio Brown could be out there too.
Yeah, I think that bridge is been burnt, blown up, and disintegrated.
Yeah,
with him playing the league.
Weeks until Devontae Adams is traded. Do you think?
Oh yeah,
He's
frustrated, man. We saw it in receiver. We seen it in real life right now.
Because they're talking about possibly switching up the quarterback. Do we really think Aiden O'Connell's going to bail this franchise out?
4 weeks.
Give 4 more weeks. So you're thinking like Halloween almost?
Halloween. It's going to be a spooky surprise.
Or do we have a quarterback trade for the Raiders? Make a trade quarterback.
That's the only way that I think they're going to be able to retain.
I think that's more realistic than them trading him. And like they're not going to get rid of the guy. They would have to be offered an insane amount of prospects and pieces to deal Adams. Like they would have to be offered a first round pick, probably some.
I don't know about that.
I'm saying about what they're expecting. I'm not saying what they're gonna get. It's what they're expecting. That's my point. It's like, y'all, we gotta realize it's the Raiders. This isn't like a logical franchise here. This is the same guys who took Darius Bay 7th overall in the 2007 draft.
Yeah, I remember that. And he made a name for himself in Pittsburgh.
Ooh, I'm about to make a name for myself.
Honestly.
They got a first and a second round for him when they traded him from Green Bay. I'm not saying a first isn't out of the question, but I don't think it's going to be a haul.
It's going to be different. Like, you got to understand, like, there's a lot of teams who, like, Philly, call Julio Jones back, see if he'll come play for us for a few weeks. Old man Julio,
I'm pretty sure somewhere something said that the Jets are like minus 300 odds for Adams right now for a destination.
Jesus. All right. Well, boys, had a good solid show today. Korner Booth Podcast kicking as well. This is episode 299, by the way.
Oh, KB 300. Was that next?
300 next Tuesday or next Monday? We hit the 300.
You got to make a banner.
We got to do something crazy. This is my last outdoor show because it's like the sun's going down at 6:30. Like I ain't going to be able to do this again.
So Nate, not Nate. I'm sorry, Chris. I need you to get a folding table. I need you to slice it a little bit in half, and then we need you to jump off on top. We need you to jump off on top of it and
300 on it.
Maybe like put like KB 300 on your chest, and then like with a cape, like Nacho Libre, just right on top of it.
Nacho,
you could even be on your little couch and be like Nacho, and then boom.
Nacho.
Hey, listen, 300 episode, guys. Maybe I'll just take one of my dad's old beat up tables and jump off the side of my porch onto it. Matt, I'll have you come up for that one. We'll just fucking videotape me doing it.
It's offer.
Or maybe I'll put some like little message to everyone as a shout out for our 300th episode. I can't believe it's 300. Holy crap! That one snuck up fast. 200, I was like prepping for days. 300, it's like, oh my god, that's next week.
We're almost in Simpsons territory.
Yeah. But good solid show, boys. Shout out to our sponsors, Canips.com, promo code BELLYUP20 for 20% off. SeatGeek promo code BellyUpSports for $20 off for initial purchase. And our Chris's favorite brand, Righteous Felon, promo code BellyUp20, BellyUp for 20% off at checkout, or 15% off checkout. Any other quick round the horn? Anything else you guys want to say before we get off the show?
We'll beat the Cowboys on Thursday.
All right, picks for tonight. By the way, sorry, picks. I'm taking the Bills and I'm taking the Commanders tonight.
I hate picking against my Jags, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the Bills and I'm going to take the Bengals. All right. BBs.
Maddie?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with what Chris is saying. I'm gonna take Bengals Bills tonight. I think the Bengals finally get their first win of the year against the little rocky Commanders team. I mean, I like Jaden Daniels a lot, but I think he's a year or two away with building a little more up on that team.
Number 2 ranked, overall pick, Washington quarterback on Monday Night Football. Last time it happened was RG3. So I'm excited for some fun tonight. I'm excited for some fun tonight. All right. And Nate, take your picks.
Bills and Bengals. By the way, I hope your pick wins though, Jared, because you are 2-4 and you need this win today.
I am not having a good time. I said to the boys before you got there, I was about to I'm thinking about honestly shaving my head at this point for good luck.
Fellas, over the weekend I got drunk and I binge watched Deal or No Deal.
Nice.
It was amazing.
I love it. All right, boys. That's it. That's all, folks. Hope you have a great week. We'll see you Thursday for the Korner Booth pregame, and next Monday for Korner Booth 300. There you go. Peace.
Love you guys.